All right, we're going to do our next installment is going to be me trying to focus in on shading in and kind of coloring in the headlights, the fog light, the grill, that type of stuff. I've already kind of done the body a little bit, and I think that's horizon green that I'm using for the headlight rim. And now I'm kind of going in with flagstone blue and some other sort of little colors here. I'm pretty much using the fan brush to add in some little dots and stuff. Really, what I need to do is go back over that. Just do the headlight solidly is what I should do. And eventually I kind of will here, but it's too much fun not to want to do the little swirls and stuff at first. And I shouldn't do that. I should just fill the whole thing in and then forget about it. Yeah, actually, I was kind of surprised that the fan brush was so good at doing little shadows like this underneath the headlight. I kind of thought I was going to have to go in with like a different brush, but this looks pretty decent. And there's like a little, like a little, I guess, dimple or like a little raised up part where the turn signal is. So I'm just trying to delineate that a little bit, put in some of these little shadows and stuff, give a little depth where you can see the fender coming down to that lower valance type thing, and adding in a little shading. You don't want to go like a perfect line all the way across. You just kind of want to add some little hints here and there. And still going in with the flat fan brush. Still going in here with the fan brush to get some of these little highlights and stuff. Maybe we should fast forward a little bit here. Alright, let's skip ahead here. I'm going to go in with the special black and a small rigger and go around the headlight. And pretty much just I kind of made the headlight itself kind of simpler. I probably should have zoomed in to look at it a little bit better. But mainly I look at it and it's kind of got just a round edge. So you kind of almost have to look at it like two surfaces. It's got the part that's facing you, and then it's got the part that's facing down on the body. So really, what you kind of need to do, or what I like to do, is kind of make a little shiny part around the rim of it, and then another little shiny part on the top of it. And in some parts, like the upper left, where it's kind of the grill is reflecting off of it, you're going to have that double line there of the reflection. And you can also see a little reflection of the amber turn signal light, which I didn't really remember to put in, but towards the end I will. But uh, I went in with some walnut, I believe. Let's see here. Yeah, the brownish stuff on the headlight is a walnut, and that's supposed to hopefully be kind of close to the same color I use on the concrete pavers there on the bottom. I haven't drawn that in yet, but eventually I will. Um, yeah, so now I'm just trying to do kind of a shade on either side of that. So it looks kind of nice and gives it a little bit more depth than just a round ring. You've got to have the top part and then the bottom part. Let's see here. What am I going in with? And this probably is going to be either Prussian or manganese blue. I think I use a combination. I think this is the Prussian blue, which is going to be a little darker blue, and I think the manganese is a little bit of a lighter color. So yeah, I'm pretty much just kind of going in here and adding some sort of shadows to it. I really kind of need to do that walnut sort of on the right edge of the beauty ring of the headlight cover thing, because that those pavers are also reflecting off of that. The problem is, I think sometimes when you do that, people, especially with car stuff, with all those geometric shapes and everything, they try to make everything kind of maybe too photorealistic, and I didn't really want to do that. I can't do that even if I wanted to, but I really don't want to even try. And this is the cool, what is it, cool gray. This is like the cool gray number 4. I'm kind of going over some of those greens, like the horizon green and stuff like that. Try to make it look a little bit not so bright. I don't want that green to stick out too much. I mean, this painting, if you took out the green background and the amber turn signal, you've almost got a black and white painting. I mean, there's the pavers that kind of have a little bit of a brownish color, and there's some different colors reflected kind of in the grill and the bumper, but really this could be black and white pretty easily. So, but I do kind of want to add a little bit of color here and there to make it kind of stand out a bit. So I'm going to go in and try to do a little bit more detail work on the headlight itself, thinking that I might kind of just add in little spots here for the dark part. I think I really should have added more colors in there, and then maybe it's okay to go in with the dark stuff like I'm doing here, but maybe the other stuff should have all been dark. I should have done the dark stuff and went light over dark on the headlight. I think that probably would have been a smarter thing to do. Here we go with the special black again, and the rigger. I really want to get some of that almost like a hard curve there on the reflection of the grill onto the headlight. And here I'm just trying to shade it in a little bit, because to me it looks a little bit, I kind of almost want to shade it in on that side. I don't like the shape of my headlight still. I mentioned that in the last video, and it's true. It's the shape's a little bit off. It's not horrible, but hopefully I can fix that later. Here I'm going in with the palette knife, the old palette knife, more specifically, with let's see here. I think this is manganese blue. We're going in here, and before I had a cool gray number 4, I believe. And now we're just kind of doing a big splotch here on the sides and just trying to do some quick colors. There's a little bit of that walnut again, I think. Oh, clay I use on this. So I'm using a slightly lighter color of brown on this side. But still, it's the point of it is that I believe it's the reflection of that walkway, that little driveway, and kind of a brownish little reflection there. And here we're dark bark, I believe, is the color here, and instead of going with like black, on the outlines, I'm just trying to shade it in with different shades of brown to kind of fade it in a little bit. And it's really easy, at least for me, to get lost in all the contours of a grill or a chrome headlight or anything because there's so many lines there. It's like you almost want to see what it looks like as far as the actual shape with no reflections or very little reflections. But because the reflections will kind of trick you into thinking what's the shape of this thing, you know what I mean? Let's see, does that say salty watercolor? I think it says soft watercolor. And this is the Prussian blue still, and yeah, small rigger, Prussian blue, a little bit of that bluish outline on there. Now we're going back in with the clay. Really, this should probably be a little bit more of a kind of a bluish brown, but the reason why I like this is because I know that the driveway is reflecting off of that. So this is where you can take what they call artistic liberties and say, well, this makes sense, And now I'm going with the old palette knife because it worked pretty well for me earlier. I'm just trying to smear on some darker colors. This is cool gray number 7, I believe. And now I'm going to go in with some brighter orange to kind of reflect that turn signal light. I think this is light camel. This might be, hang on, is that persimmon? Hang on. So it looks like here using the old palette knife with what I think is light camel is what it's called. Just a lighter sort of brownish color, just get some little highlights here. We're going in back with the cool gray. The problem with me is that I'm just all over the place, and it's so easy when it's all virtual. You can just kind of change colors, change utensils or brushes, whatever you want to call it, whenever you feel like it. And that's probably a good thing, but also probably a bad thing in some ways. I kind of wouldn't mind taking some of this knowledge if I used it like a real palette brush or something. I know you can't, or a real brush, because there's always going to be some paint loaded up. Even when you clean it, you're always going to have other paint there. But maybe just getting the techniques down and applying it to some of my actual real paintings, because I haven't got too much into doing a lot of paintings these days that I need to, because I've got some canvasi, and some other like little watercolor paper and stuff I need to start painting on. Yeah, so more of the special black and the small rigger. Just gotta delinate it as much as possible. I really kind of don't want to do that. I feel like sometimes I almost have to. With stuff like this, you almost kind of need to. I'm sure there's somebody out there who's like watching this like, no, you don't have to do it that way, stupid. But this is how I do it. But I'm still kind of like a comic book wannabe artist type. I just hate to get so used to doing the black lines over everything, or on the outside of everything.